let me just do a brief profile on him. Dr. Jonathan Ososuakpo is the MD CEO of Unique Microfinance Bank Limited. He is a professional with over 30 years of experience gathered from notable institutions such as Union Bank of Nigeria PLC, Societe Generale Bank Limited, Gateway Bank PLC, Intercontinental Bank PLC, Oceanic Bank International PLC, and EcoBank Nigeria Limited, from where he resigned as a senior manager in 2012 to team up with other professionals to pioneer Unique Microfinance Bank, which he has grown to be among the top 10 microfinance banks in Nigeria in a space of 12 years. I thought you were going to clap for that. He is a balanced professional with specifications in marketing on financial products, Economists of Nigeria, Fellow Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals, Fellow Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Fellow Institute of Credit Administration, Fellow Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Certified Expert in Risk Management, Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, a member Chartered Bankers Institute, Scotland, member Nigeria Economic Society, Microfinance Certified Banker, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Jonathan Ososuakpo. Please, a big round of applause.
Present, but I've been told that His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborori was here, who gave the keynote address, and some other, professionals who came to make presentations in respect of this special summit in 2025. So I will quickly run to say that I'm sure that the representative of the governor should also be here. So I will say His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, and also the Secretary of Delta State Micro, Small, Medium Scale Enterprises, Dr. Adolo, political leaders, private sector experts, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My job is very simple because a lot of issues have been discussed yesterday, ordering on micro, medium scale enterprises in Delta State and also in Nigeria, as it were. And my own job is to talk about a specific topic which I know the panel that we set up here will do justice to, giving enough overview. They will do justice to it, and all questions that will be that need to be asked, they will also provide solutions. Please, I don't know if Technical can help me put on the slide. Can you project it, please? Of the institute, what institute are put in place by the MOB agenda of the governor in her effort to promote the growth of MSME in Delta State. And of course, a maiden summit of this nature should be able to, connect operators in the MSME space, financiers, and trainers to find solutions for sustainable data enterprise development. You should also be able to address how MSME are being funded in Delta State over time have been the trajectory? How are they being funded in Delta State? And what are the challenges facing the MSME in the state? Then how can we address the funding gap? Then of course, we also look at future prospect of MSME in Delta State. I want to say that we are all aware that MSMEs are the backbone of every global economy. Any economy that want to grow expectedly to be able to address issues concerning MSME. Of course, we know that they account for about 90% of business globally, according to World Trade Organization. And of course, MSME are the engine of job creation, innovation, and economic resilience. We're all aware. Then access to suitable finance is critical for SME to expand and scale up in operations. So MSME, receive, as it is today, they receive in the proportionately small share of credit from the financial system, a significant credit gap, which I will show as we go on. The majority of MSME operate informally or semi-informally. Credit is likely available, but access is critical for SME. It's about misalignment system, risk perception about MSME, and outdated models that don't match the realities of the local enterprise. I will throw light on all of that as we go, but we should need to know also that micro, small, and medium enterprise are classified to various categories, like what I've shown here. I have about 3 categories here. The slide is not moving. I have about 3 categories there. The micro enterprise is less than 10 staff. And of course, the financial base is less than 5 million. Therefore, small enterprise, you have about 10 to 49 staff. And of course, their asset base is between 5 to 50 million. While medium enterprise is 50 to 199 staff. And of course, they have capital base of 50 and less than 500 million. These are the issue, the category of the MSME we're talking about now. This is their classification. So any organization that have the category of that staff, you know that they are falling within the range. Any other thing is they are bigger, they are larger companies. So I would like to tell you some of the indicators of the economy, so you know where we can plug in the progress of MSME in Delta State. Now, if you look at these indicators, I will talk about few. Of course, inflation is a necessity because of inflation, we have what we call money illusion. People are illusioned by money. Maybe they have 100 million and they feel that the real value of the money is 100 million. No, it is already illusion by money. But you deflate it by the price level, discover that what 100 million that they can buy because of inflation, you cannot buy it. So that's why we talk about inflation. And as of today, October 24th, 2024, from empirical records, we have about a 3.88% inflationary rate in Nigeria. So if any bank gives you an interest of 40% or 30%, it means you cannot meet up the inflationary gap. Then also, the monetary policy rate, that is the rate at which central bank lend as a lender of last resort, is 27.5%. So any other bank can add +5 as a liable margin. Then of course, financial inclusion rate has actually increased. You know, one of the things we suffer in Nigeria because of financial illiteracy, that is, people are not taken to the formal financial system. A lot of people still keep their money at homes, so still dig them in the pot. But with the campaign of financial inclusion by the Central Bank of Nigeria, a lot have been done, and of course, have been scaled up to about 70% as of 2024 indicators. Then, of course, our population growth rate has continued to go up by 2.5% annually. Then, also, nominal GDP as at 2024 was 71.13 trillion. And of course, the real growth rate, when deflated by the price level, is actually 3.46. Then, real GDP is 20.12 trillion. The nominal growth rate is about 17.26. Those indicators, you will see why I'm bringing them. So that as we interpret the progress of MSME in Delta State, you can see the progress we have made over time. Other indicators are also there. We try to show MSME landscape for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2003, 2010, and 2017 to date. And and we can see that the Bank of Industry has actually played a lot of role. I learned some of the representatives yesterday, and other agencies like the Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprises Agency, SMIDA, they have done a lot of contribution to the growth of MSME. Then if we look at the statistics of MSME in Africa, you will see that MSME account for 80% of workforce in Africa. Then of course they contribute to GDP, 40% to GDP in Africa. That shows the place of MSME and how important they are in the scheme of things. I will not dwell too much on these statistics. I try to show you the state with highest distribution of business enterprise in Nigeria, like Lagos, Rivers, Kano State, and while other states are less, they have less presence of SME. But if you look at it, Delta have about 32% presence of MSME among the committee of states. I will quickly run away for too much statistics, but I want to show you this cumulative distribution intervention scheme from inception to November 2020. That's supposed to be 2024, please. So you can see that a commercial agricultural credit scheme has been contributing. ACO borrowing programs have been run for SME. Then SME with discount and refinancing facility have been a kind of disbursement and intervention have been done over time. And of course, you know, we are aware of COVID-19, that there were a lot of intervention at that time for micro, small, medium scale enterprises. Then of course, risk sector support. Banks have been supporting MSME and all of that, you know. Then, what has been the traditional way of financing MSME? Of course, we know that most people start a startup, or they can start from personal savings, from family intervention fund, loans from commercial bank and microfinance bank, cooperatives and other developmental financial institutions, intervention funding, which I've mentioned, several government-led micro enterprise funding, Islamic financing, reinvestment of profit by SME, the banks and other financial institutions, government-backed loan and guarantee scheme, grants from international bodies and agencies. These have been the traditional way that MSME have been funded in Nigeria and of course in the state. Then, how MSME are being funded in the state, in Delta State particularly. You see, in Delta State, of course, I am aware that the Delta State government have a revolving fund, about 1 billion fund managed by the Bank of Industry at a single-digit interest rate. Also, Bank of Industry has approved 60.7 billion for 573 MSME customers nationwide as at 2021. Then, Development Banks of Nigeria has disbursed 786 billion to 494,819 MSME, creating over 1.2 million jobs in Nigeria. Then Impact Credit Guarantee Limited has guaranteed over 278 billion in loans to MSME across Nigeria. Then if you look at also Microfinance Bank has played dominant role, so much role in funding MSME in Delta State. Also, if you look at Delta State funding initiatives, the state has been able to, or they have proposed a 3 billion for Delta State Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency in 2026 fiscal plan. These are the things that we have in the offing. You need to get this information so that most of the programs are being run, people don't have information. So in 2026, in their fiscal budget plan, they have already earmarked 3 billion for funding of MSME in Delta State. And of course, the objective of that funding is to boost entrepreneurship and create jobs and drive economic growth and development, provide accessible financing to small, medium-scale enterprises, and enhance economic development and sustainability. And of course, for you to be eligible for that fund, it has been mentioned that resident business operators in Delta State are qualified, and of course, there should be proper documentation and of course, application through the Bank of Industry to access the fund. These information are necessary for us to know, to be informed of what to do to access the funding. Then of course, for some time now, the state have been intervening, Delta State. For instance, MSME empowerment program was done by the state. And also, agricultural empowerment program done by the state. they call it the CARE program that was run by the state. And the last one I know in 2025 was Delta State's Empower 320 Women with business grants under more agenda. These are things that the state have been doing to increase and to boost the performance of MSME in Delta State. But of course, there are challenges, a lot of challenges in running these programs. MSME, because of high loan default. Then, of course, some of the intervention programs are consumed by political undertone. And of course, in the state, in some internal roads, internal areas, the road network are bad, poor communication and coordination, then poor identity management system, poor targeting and planning of the programs. Then the major challenges in the success of these programs are being that the people are not aware, poor program awareness. And that is why this summit seek to make sure that both the participants, both the practitioners, both the trainers, all of us are aware of the programs that are being earmarked to be run in the state. Then some of the challenges of intervention programs too, they are embedded in corruption among program implementers. Of course, it's not new. Then also lack of program transparency. I believe that in this summit, some of these issues should be addressed. How do we avoid intransparent leadership in running these programs? Of course, I will leave that for the discussant to do justice to it. Then, of course, insufficient knowledge of how to apply has been an issue. Some people may have heard of the program on radio or elsewhere, but they do not know how to apply. So these are the issues we will discuss in this program. But of course, there's a gap in funding. And from study we have made, a finance study certainly captured the dilemma of financing MSME in Africa. And the provision of finance for Africa is generally rated as risky, like I have mentioned before. The provision of finance for small, small firms is globally rated as riskier than larger firms, because larger firms have organized records. Larger firms have enough collateral and so on and so forth to access such loan. So, for the World Bank estimates the micro, small, medium scale enterprises financial gap report in 2025 says that there was a gap of about 5.7 trillion, which is equivalent to 19% of GDP of Nigeria and 20% of total private sector credit. Then, the study also finds that 40% of former MSME are credit constrained, with 19% fully and 21% partially constrained. Among these women-owned MSME face a gap of about $1.9 trillion, which is about 34% of the unmet demand for finances, equivalent to 8% of GDP in developing economies. Then between 2015 and 2019, the MSME finance gap grew by about 6% annually. So the gap is increasing. Even the supply of credit increased, though it increased by 7%. Updated global estimates for 2023 are expected to be available by November for us to get the current statistics on the trajectory. Then we have said that there are problems and limitations of accessing funds by MSME. And some of the challenges they are facing actually are, one, on the demand side. When I say the demand side, we're talking about the people who will seek for loan, who need the loan to run their enterprise. There are challenges. One of them is inability to fulfill required financial records or collateral has been a challenge. And I think we should, in this summit, we should be able to address it. And of course, in my presentation, I'm also going to make some recommendations on how to overcome that. Because at the end of this program, we expect that most of the challenges will be able to profile a way forward to address them. The lack of financial management skills. Then of course, low level awareness of existing financial products and intervention. Like I've mentioned, some of those programs, I'm sure very many of us were not aware when they were introduced. Then, of course, lack of technical skills by most MSME. For instance, if you want to open a bakery, I expect that the CEO or the sole proprietor, you want to know how to bake bread. If you want to take a franchise from McDonald's, you must be able to bake their product. They will never give you a franchise unless you are able to do burger. So I expect that entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the inventors, or the founders of any enterprise, you have to have the technical skill to run their enterprise firsthand before employing workers whom they can direct. You cannot control what you don't know. That has been a problem. People just feel people establishing enterprise without technical skills, they will just come up and start running a business and be to hire. Though you can hire experts, but you must have the foreknowledge. It has been a serious problem. Everybody want to manufacture pure water. You just hear it, you just go and manufacture. We need to take this as a challenge. That for us to establish an enterprise where I will thrive, we need to also have the technical skill to run such enterprise. The lack of, access, like I mentioned, to financial services points. The perception that loans are bad, that loans become bad when the chief executive are not honest in their dealings. This is no longer work. I can go ahead. So now we need to also look at the supply side. The supply side is for those who are rendering the financial services, like banks and financial institutions. They also have their own constraint. They have said that there's a system, a rigid credit reporting system, though that has been overcome by the credit bureau. Before now, it used to be rigid. But among the informal sector, most of the people in the financial landscape do not have the facilities to report credit. It's only few that has been able to enter into the credit bureau space. But for the informal sector in financing, most of them don't even have report. For instance, if you borrow from a cooperative, you will not see the thing in credit bureau. If you borrow from friends, you will not see the credit report in credit bureau. This has been a problem. So people can do multiple borrowing. They go to their cooperative, borrow. They go to the banks, borrow. The banks, of course, you can see in credit bureau, but in all those cooperative and informal group, there's no record. It has been a problem. So people can just be borrowing at random, and of course, at the end, there will be default. So financiers are always scared to look at their request for loans because nobody wants to throw good money after bad. Then there's a problem of verification address in Nigeria. Though we have NIN, but address verification system is a problem. I know in developed countries, once you enter to Google, you see the address of the place in the map. It's easy to trace, and of course, it's as easy as that. But here, to verify, if you move forward to sample, to trace you is a problem. So address verification system is a problem. When we used to run a post office system, when you send mail and telegram to post office, it was better off because for everywhere you have big postal box and postal agency. So if we go back and do a proper numbering of streets and do a mapping, it's going to help us in tracing addresses and locating one another. The high cost of service by these financial institutions to reach the bottom part of the ladder in financing. So we have said most of the problem is that for the supply, for the demand side, it's working now.
Okay. This way.
Okay. If they have transaction, they just do cash and carry. So we need to have a credit history for financial institutions to do appraisal of the customer, get some history. It's just like you just knocking doors at I want to borrow money, but where is the history of your business? It's not no. We need to look at your turnover and all indicators to show that you are in business. The lack of proper business planning, the limited financial literacy, which is being addressed by the financial inclusion program. Then, of course, you agree with me that interest rates are relatively high, and businesses in Nigeria may not be profitable if the rate is high, considering other overhead costs. The lack of business plan and good feasibility study. This is a problem. Many people do not have good business plan and feasibility study. This has been a problem to funding MSME in the state. Okay. So to close the funding gap in Delta State, the following recommendation can be made. Financial institution can offer alternative collateral options, such as using movable assets or future cash flow. So if we have been able to overcome the problem of good record, if you can keep good record, good credit history, financial institution can assess your future cash flow to enable them project and assess, and of course appraise your loan request. Then also provide financial literacy training to MSME, which I know that the Delta State micro small scale enterprise led by Dr. Adola has been doing, and this is one of the training that we are having to give you information, to give you to be well informed of what is happening. And of course, we encourage MSMEs to formalize their businesses to improve their credit worthiness. The government can provide guarantees or subsidies to reduce the risk of lending to MSME, which of course have been a serious problem to banks. Financial can develop specialized products tailored to the needs of MSME in Delta State. Then we also expect that good and accurate record should be maintained, develop solid business plan, demonstrate a clear understanding of your market and your industry. They show a willingness to adopt a digital finance services, which OP, Point, and other institutions will be running. You can borrow money online if you meet the criteria. Then build relationship with the financial institutions and other stakeholders. With this, one of the strong and very important collateral is credibility, integrity, which is the highest currency in the world. You cannot buy it with money. If businessmen, if MSME have are creditworthy and they have integrity, they will be able to assess loan, because the first thing you look at is the integrity of the customer, his creditworthiness, and the collateral become secondary. It's just like a psychological comfort for borrowers. So I will run away from it, but let me mention this, that one of the problem of the performance of MSME in Delta State or in Nigeria all over has been lack of energy, electricity to run businesses, hence high cost of doing business. And so at the end of the day, they are not profitable. They are not profitable. I will expatiate on that as I go on. Again, insecurity. Many people want to go to agriculture now, they cannot even go to their farms, cannot access their farm because of insecurity. Government should try to enforce law and order also. But I want to say this, and let us take note of it, that Delta State introduced ease of doing business. We are aware, ease of doing business in terms of registration, ease of registering your businesses, and also creating the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. But in Delta State, we have continuously battled with men who claim to be representing government in collecting taxes. If you go to a typical town or city in Delta State, you see different uniform. So say they are VIO, so say they are, like men, and so many names, different uniform. They will begin to embarrass everybody that comes into the town. The one of VIO is that once they see a trailer carrying load, they will flag a trailer driver and beat extort money. Even policemen. I'm saying it with all, sense of responsibility. It has been a problem, and people are not ready to establish businesses in Delta State, and of course in Port Harcourt, the same thing is happening. I'm aware that the states also have done a lot in terms of ruling out laws in the House of Assembly to stop DEVE, but DEVE is already disguised. They give it another name, and they are still doing it. I think that if the government make laws, it would be too nice. It would be nice for government to follow up compliance. You will see demand notices. I'm going to discuss, but I will show you some of the demand notices that are brought for local government, of only one local government, over 20, to institutions that are doing businesses. And of course, the collection method has become so barbaric that they can come and lock up your shop without court order. This has been a recurring decimal. Minister of Environment has been one of the key leaders. They use their name to disguise to make these collections. For me, I think in my own way of reasoning, I think the state need to be proactive in trying to ensure that there is compliance. Are we together? The state need to be proactive. Roll it for me. Need to be proactive in trying to ensure compliance to all these various laws. Ease of doing business should make people, in fact, there should be tax rebate for MSME to grow. Not that you come and collect borehole money, tomorrow you come and collect environmental money, the next tomorrow toilet money, another one. So many levies. And so businessmen are traumatized in debtor states. The objective of government or the governor is that we should make the place safe, as a safe haven for businesses to thrive. But these issues have not helped in debtor states, and it will not help us if this summit seek to improve the performance of MSME in the state. Then I will talk about energy. Project it for me. I want you to see something. I want you to see this picture. Project it for me. Go to the area of energy. Then you go to slide 24. Slide 24. Go to slide 24. Back. Slide 24. This is okay. 24. Data state. Look at what it can do. Okay, roll for me. Move. Bioenergy and of course livestock. You will see them. You know, we can, in this manner, the production system can now bring in technology for small, micro, small and large scale industry. There are value chains like food processing, manufacturing, construction. And of course, it can do state or marketing of financial services like retail, marketing, restaurant, and of course, export, cropping, livestock, fishery, and special items. I just try to show some of the things you can expect in the state if and only if we are able to, you know, work on energy in the state. You will see a lot of I wrote this slide. I wanted to see these pictures. Go ahead, just be moving. You know, look at all this. All this you will see. Just be moving. All this you will see. There will be fishery. There will be aquaculture. There will be intensive rice production. Local fabricated equipment, of course, will be the next line of technological improvement and innovation in the state. And you see animal husbandry, things like hatchery, production of figure lids, and so on and so forth. As you continue to roll this, like you see at the end, you see that secondary production will take place. We can extract juice for fruits. We can do a lot of fruits packaged for export, and so on and so forth. Please roll this slide. Just be going with the slide. You know, at the end of the day, there will be ecotourism. Be rolling that slide. There will be ecotourism, and of course, you will see from that picture. You see what could happen in the state. Be rolling it. Happen in the state, and so on and so forth. So we can decide to use gas turbine as one of the major sources of energy, and other measures which I know that ECN in Ughelli can even power, and so on and so forth, if only the state is committed to bringing energy to bear. And of course, at the end of the day, energy will lead to human migration. Data state will be fully populated, and there will be a model city. Look at these cities. For instance, look at Amsterdam, look at Berlin, look at Tokyo, look at Shanghai, Madrid, and all those cities. They came as a result of MSME that were active in contributing to the GDP of those states and countries. And I would like my state to be one. So when we look at some other countries that have implemented successful financing strategy for MSME, of course, there was economic growth. I look at Rwanda, try to look at Rwanda. That Rwanda implemented a comprehensive MSME development strategy, including access to finance, training, and mentorship. Kenya did the same thing. They established the Kenya Industrial Estate to provide affordable financing and infrastructure for MSME. In South Africa, they also launched a small enterprise financing agency to provide financing and support to MSME. Then, of course, in Ghana, they introduced the National Entrepreneurial and Innovation Plan to provide funding and training for micro, small, medium-scale enterprises. Then, of course, I also look at Tanzania history. Tanzania established a Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, principally to provide financing for agricultural activities. You know, so but like I've told you, the government has done a lot of things. Ease of doing business, try to develop infrastructure, give SME support and initiative, and so on and so forth. But we have not really had the desired result. If we are getting results, it's coming gradually, but we are not getting to the zenith or the peak. So what is the way forward for SME in Delta State? I have told you before that we need to look critically at the activities of the agencies. Some are being given as contractors. They will come with a letterheaded power and say that government has given them contract to collect taxes. And of course, the VIO, you have super VIO now. Two class of VIO, some of them are not even staff of the agency. They will just sew uniform for their work and black, give them fake ID card, and of course they go out and start harassing people to collect money. In fact, they're not on salary, so whatever they collect is what they will eat. So they are very aggressive. Government need to address that. It's very significant as a distraction. Elevated tax and revenue collection by local government should be looked into. We should have a joint tax board that should look at both state and local government tax collection. I think the states have something like that, but it's not being implemented. The policies on investment must address business-friendly environment, which require proper regulation and streamlining of laws and orders. There should be surveillance cameras at every strategic point in the state, in various cities, to at least have some control of crime in the area. Investment or businessmen, they migrate to where they have safety in operating their businesses. Of course, we have a lot of advantages in the state. Delta State is the only state in Nigeria that have seaport, they have airport, you can access through road network, and that makes it an international state. And I expect that we should take advantage of our, infrastructure, what we have on ground, to move businesses. Of course, I also want to say this: most of our leaders in Delta State, community leaders, at all levels, they have become principalities and power, without which no investment can prosper in Delta State. Example is the gas revolution industrial park in Ogidigbe, which failed to kick off despite investors' readiness, and so the economic benefits were stalled. So the too much facilities in Delta State, trailers with loads are intercepted. Of course, tricycles are intercepted, and in fact, the leaders in Delta State need to understand that their part of leadership is to impart on their people. But we discover that leaders will cause community crisis, bring land issues, and the rest, which also frustrate investors in the state. We need to look at that, and government need to be very firm in trying to implement all of that policies. Let me talk about this. In Nigeria, in Delta State and Nigeria by extension, you discover that the country is rich in vegetation. If you look at the various vegetation, the mangrove swamp forest, you look at the rainforest, you look at the freshwater forest, and of course, so many of those vegetation, they are all rich in production of agricultural products and of course, by extension, manufacturing of products for the country. We often sell our primary product at peanuts to foreigners, and they take them, add value, and bring them to us in Nigeria, added value in dollars. But we can work to the extent that we can have a secondary production, produce this material, and export them at higher values. So the only way to move forward in Nigeria, let me just bring it in general, is to downplay ethnicity and religion, because that has been the problem. As these are the focuses that repel us as centrifugal forces. Instead, we have a centrifugal forces that pull us together. That's what we need. We need a centripetal force that can pull us together. From the map, you can see, and you're not showing them, you are lost with me. There's a map I showed there. You can see that around the Atlantic Ocean, you have the marine resources called the blue economy. You have the mangrove forest, the rainforest, the Guinea, Savannah, Sudan, and Sahel. The colonial masters had envisioned that we could pool all the resources from these areas together to support development. Unfortunately, what ought to be an advantage to Nigeria has become a disadvantage, because the repelling forces are too much. And so instead of us growing, we are having what you call immersionizing growth, that is indemnifying growth. So that is very, very important. We need to downplay the religion and ethnic bigotry in our country. Then for SME to traditionally rise up and grow, we need to midwife a new process to look at school academic curriculum. We discover that nobody has patience to sit in the classroom for 5 years or 4 years again in university. People want to have even in secondary school. That is why the objective of government making it GSS and SS is to make sure that people have skills at SSS level, GSS level, that they can do something with. If there's employment in Nigeria, when you finish from GSS, you can start working and training yourself for SSS if it is available. So the curriculum has to be tinkered with. We have to tweak the curriculum to look at it. What are we going to do? The traditional system of our parties is very, very important, because you look at the Igbo man, they have always succeeded in businesses. How and why? Because the Igbo man will bring his brother to the shop, he will mentor the brother, he will ensure that he is already very skillful, he has learned the ropes, he understands the risk profile of the business, and now he gives him a token to open his business. Before you know, he will become successful because he has been mentored. I think that the universities, the schools have been training people to look for a job. That is what we have in Nigeria. But if you can create a new curriculum, when we train people to be self-employed, you have the artisans to be self-employed. In fact, do you know that in Nigeria, if you want good tilers, you go to Ghana or go to outside Nigeria, Togo, to go and get tilers. But if we have this specialty in Nigeria, construction is taking place, you want to use our own people. So we need to tweak with the academic programs of schools, the curriculum of schools. In this way, the training will gain experience. When compared to the mainstream Western system of education, after 4 years of graduation, the graduates start looking for a job. Even as an accountant, you cannot even practice as an accounting graduate because you've not done practical work, they're not showing you the ropes. Those who do mechanical engineering is a problem because they cannot even open an engine, even identify a V12 engine. It's a problem. So I think we need to retweak with the academic program in the state and of course in Nigeria. Then I want to make this advice too. If we need to promote MSME in Delta State, I know that the state can run a program. Local government, the federal government, and the state government can decide to give a mandate to every local government, every state, to do what you call farm settlement. If you say local government 5,000 hectares of land, if possible, or 10,000 hectares of land, go and put a farm settlement, build all the facilities, provide schools, infrastructure in the place, provide energy. It will create employment opportunity for all. And it provide opportunity for many firms to be to rise. Forward integration, backward integration. You will be leasing of equipment and the rest. Government can provide mechanized farming equipment for lease to this farm settlement. And I know if it is done, the state will upscale in terms of the growth of MSME as it were. I want to say that the safest route to alleviating poverty is establishing an MSME, is the fusions of deltas, and it is about entrepreneurship mentality. You see, most of us are working right now. We are working, we have jobs, but one day, you must leave your job. Those who impart in the growth of MSME are those who are even experienced having worked. When you retire, you should do something, create employment for others. After all, you gain some experience in your office in managing people. So if you are able to think of solving a problem, provide solution within the domestic and foreign economy, then you are in business. So I want to advise for all of us who are job seekers, for us who have graduated and looking for keke to ride, that is not the right way to go. Riding keke is a short-run solution to financial breakthrough. It's just a short run. But if you think outside the box, you'll be able to establish with the assistance of the body, the Delta State medium, micro, medium scale enterprise, and the intervention fund that have been organized in the state. I think job seekers, you want to launch into one of these jobs, create jobs. In fact, banks equally help to finance some startup. I know Illuminati Foundation is one of those foundations that try to give startup capital or seed capital to some people. But the problem we have is that even if government are trying to empower people by training them and providing seed capital, most people say, give me my money, they will go and spend it without establishing something. It has been a problem. It's a training program that is going on now. And I think it's an empowerment program that is going on. And you know what's happening? Everybody is looking up to, we have about 200 welders being trained by government as I speak to you. And you know what everybody is saying? As I beg, they should pay me my startup, let me go. They want to go and use it to enjoy themselves. They do not start businesses. So if we are here and you want to benefit from any intervention program, you should make up your mind that you should go and do your study. And of course, let the Delta State micro, small, medium enterprise development agency be able to monitor such people to make sure that these businesses are established for them. I've seen in one of the files, of course, it's my bank that said advance. I mean, they give you advance to establish your business. That once you are having a salary, they will, in service, when you are planning for retirement, as part of your retirement, you have to save money to ensure that you establish your own business, and of course, that will make you to empower people. I think I don't want to belabor you too much. I've been told my time is almost getting over. But let me just summarize by saying that if you think of solving problems within the domestic economy, you are in employment. And of course, it's a continuous plan of having ideas, generate your ideas, and try to be creative in your thinking, have a vision, and of course, at the end, if you aspire to go get where you want, you will get to the required position. Like I said that deltas, you may not know, but there's wealth in the state. You may not know that there are multiple opportunities in the state, but think very well, and I think we will get to the desired position. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That's Dr. Jonathan Ososuakpo, MD, CEO, Amju Unique Microfinance Bank Limited. Please, let's appreciate him one more time. And now to the panel, I'd like to hand over to the anchor, Dr. Jasper Iraduri. Over to you, please.
I'm sure that it will help Delta State's micro, small, and medium enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to a very unique moment this morning. It's about money. It's about finance. And so we've got the right people up on stage here to see how they can support us over finance. Everybody needs money. And everybody that is an MSME should have money. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to introduce my panelists, starting from the Regional Manager, South Bank of Industry, Mr. Babatunde Ajale. A round of applause for him, please. You also have Mrs. Gladys Okwacha. Okay, I hope I didn't butcher it. Okwacha. She is representing the Eagle Flight Microfinance Bank. Please, a round of applause for her. You have Mr. Buhari Yusuf from the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nexim Bank. A round of applause for him. You have Mr. Benjamin Aduli, the President, My Street Multipurpose Cooperative Society, and then the Group CEO of Maize Group. And of course, you have Dr. Jonathan, the MD, CEO of Amju Unique Microfinance Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. I will run through all of them with one question right now. Bank of Industry, do you have money for MSMEs?
Tell you that the Bank of Industry does have a lot of money for MSMEs. Thank you.
Round of applause. Eagle Flight Microfinance Bank. Do you have money for MSMEs in Delta State?
The sole aim of, establishing Eagle Flight Microfinance Bank is to provide loans for businesses.
Do you have money?
Definitely we have money.
Please give a round of applause for her. Nexim Bank, your mandate is for exports and allied matters. MSMEs fall under allied matters. Do you have money for MSMEs in Delta State?
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. Benjamin Aduli, you are one that has been advancing a concept that is very interesting to many people. You align with different systems globally. Do you have money for MSMEs in Delta State? Quick yes or no?
No, I don't agree with you. I would not do yes or no for one reason. Not only do we have money for MSMEs, we are not a bank and we not ask you for collateral. Let me repeat it again. Not only do we have money for MSMEs, but we do not ask you for collateral when you come to look for money.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Funny, and they're not asking you for collateral. Please. Dr. Jonathan Ososuakpo, you gave a beautiful, in fact, everything you gave as your presentation here, for me, as a person, I endorse. For our institution, as All Africa Institution for SMEs, I tell you that all your figures, your statistics are correct, and we align with you. So do you have money in your bank for Delta State's micro, small, and medium enterprises?
Yes, we have money.
Ladies and gentlemen, MSMEs of Delta State, behold your money. A round of applause for all of them. Behold your money. And so let's now dive deep into the conversations. The assurance is that they have money. Now the issue is, how do you access that money? That's the critical matter. And all of you here are waiting to know how you can access that money, and you're waiting to know whether the amount of money they have, actually the criteria precedent to draw down suits you. So ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly come to Bank of Industry once again. For those 40 million, please give Bank of Industry a round of applause. Now, to say the least, BOI, you've engaged SMEs across 36 states and then federal capital. Would you want to confirm whether SMEs are the large defaulters in your bank? From your books in your banks, are SMEs the largest defaulters of loans?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me use this opportunity to present like a goodwill of what Bank of Industry has done in Delta State this year, particularly along two programs. We call one RAPID and the second one FGN MSME, FGN MSME Fund. So I make it bold to say that out of that RAPID, Delta State is the highest state that benefited from RAPID. And I would also like to commend
Delta State drew down from 75 billion.
No, Delta State on the 75 billion and on the RAPID program that the bank is running.
So obviously those people that drew down from that fund are here.
Some would be here.
Delta State, you drew down on their fund.
I particularly would like to also seize this opportunity to commend one of your sons, who is the state manager of Delta State, and by the name Mr. Monday Ojigada. He's seated right in front of me. Please stand up for recognition. It is not easy to give out funds if you do not have the drive, the love for your people, and the commitment to ensure that they benefit from it. Before now, you find other sectors of the economy having the largest share in terms of those that benefited from the fund. But first time, we'll be having it over the years that Delta State has the highest number from those funds. Rapid targeted rural areas. So you can see him leaving the city in Asaba, going to Ubeli, going to Sapele, going to Integral, part of Wari, going to, name it. And they have the highest number of beneficiaries. Moving on from there, Dr. Jonathan also mentioned earlier that the Bank of Industry, as of today, Delta State is the leading South-South state in terms of disbursement again to MSMEs and SMEs, and this also can be attributed to the state manager, because before now we didn't have that number.
Correct. Let's give a round of applause to the son of the soil.
Having said that, MSMEs can be very, very difficult to give loans to. You have a lot of issues. Some of them do not have. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking MSME and SME
interchangeably, you know, because you even have nano SMEs.
Exactly.
So when you use the word SME, exactly, then it covers for all of them.
It covers for all of them. So you have situations where the ones that are registered, the bigger ones that take loans from 10 million and above, you still have defaulters in them, but because they are collateralized loans and they bring bank guarantees and some form of collateral, they know that they don't want to lose their house or they don't want to have issues with their bankers, they pay back. But the MSMEs, the 10 million and below, you have a lot of issues. They see it as national cake or state cake, that this is our commonwealth. We have to take it and not pay back. So that you have a huge number of defaulters in that space.
I hear you, Babatunde. But you see, the simple question I ask, in your books, do you have MSMEs as large defaulters of your loans?
We have MSMEs as large defaulters of our loans.
Thank you very much.
While we keep a very appreciable and considerable minimum non-performing loan ratio as a bank.
Okay.
We have our non-performing loan ratio below 5%.
Okay, so the next thing you want to hear is, you know, the MSMEs don't ask for much. You are talking about Mama Orode, you're talking about who is doing Akara, you're talking about one who is doing you're talking about one in the market. So their figures, what they ask from you, is not heavy. So are you really showing in your documents you have them as defaulters? Because they know that when they take from you, they can always take as much, you know, revolve it and take as much.
Let me also say this here to show you that we are trying to encourage them to stop being defaulters. The rapid program, right? It's a program that the bank says, if you take 5 million, once you pay 2.5 million, we dash you the remaining 2.5 million. When you take 10 million, once you pay 5 million, we dash you the remaining 5 million.
We are paying for questions and answers. They will come back for you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I can tell you, it's a nationwide program.
Why I applaud Bank of Industry? Because I know that Bank of Industry is like Nigerian bottling company. They have the bitter. They have bitter lemon. They are like bitter lemon, Fanta, Coke. So people have different sides. I know a number of people that have benefited from them, and they can tell you that what he's saying is correct. I also know a number of people that will tell you that what they are saying, that they are very difficult to get money from. So that there are different people here so you will have opportunity to question him for that, and you will get to know, because you know your son of the soil is also here and he's also releasing money to you. So you have to be careful how you address them, because they are the ones to ensure that something comes back to you. So ladies and gentlemen, with Bank of Industry, please, let's quickly jump to next thing back. And why, for the going from your mandate, I know that you cater much more for exports and not too much for SMEs. But at the same time, your institution is pioneering. I'm going to give you a microphone. Your institution is pioneering something in Nigeria called factoring, the factoring concept. And which we see as an alternative recipe to finance. So the SMEs are here, some of them have jobs, some of them have projects, and they are advancing, but then they don't know how to get this funding. You know, so what would you want to say about factoring for them, and how can Delta State SMEs key into that factoring concept?
Thank you very much. let me start by appreciating the doctor for a very well spoken paper. Very directly, factoring is just about giving an entity monies to carry out jobs in anticipation of payment in the future. We all know that it is quite difficult for an entity to give you advance payment to go and carry out a job and then expect repayment. What will naturally happen is that you'll be given a job to carry out and then you'll be paid at a future date. But SMEs or businesses are actually strapped or actually have the paucity of funds. Therefore, they will need funding to be able to carry out these jobs and then wait for payments to come. In other instances, they will have completed jobs and are waiting for payment, but they need to continue their jobs, and therefore they have documents which translates into future funds but need funding right now.
So it's paper speaking to paper.
Paper speaking to paper. So factoring is a very documentary type of transaction, and let me just put it in very simple, English. If you have a supply contract and you want funding to execute it, and this supply contract has to do with anything export or in the export line, Exim Bank has funds to advance to you to carry out this job, and then when you are paid, you pay Exim Bank. So we hold the document that has been given to you, the contract document, as our collateral, and then we will have ownership of the monies. So we will ensure that we give you the monies to go and carry out the job, hold your papers, and when you are paid, we will use that to get our monies back and give you your balance. On the flip side, if you have carried out a job and you have papers evidencing you have completed the job, but you are awaiting payment, you can also bring those papers to us and we will discount it for you. You have 10 million you are expecting for your job completed, we can give you 80 million, and when your 10 million comes, we take our 8 million out and give you your 2 million.
Hold it there. MSMEs, how do you see that? Is that a good solution? Does that work? Is it good news to your ears? How long does this take? How long does this take to happen? Transaction time?
Basically, within 30 days maximum.
30 days. Please give Exim Bank a round of applause. Exim Bank, let me with you for a few seconds. Have you done this anywhere else in Nigeria?
And presently, we are very strong for those who are doing services in the oil and gas.
And Delta State is oil and gas.
And Delta State is oil and gas. So I think we are positioning ourselves here. And let me just point it, maybe at this point, that SME, next thing going into the SME space is actually a new thing for us. We actually come into the space as new players. But because there is so much potentials, and even when you look at the export of commodities, all the big exporters actually delve down to little aggregators. So why are the exporters making the whole funds, making the whole monies, when those who aggregate 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags are left out? So we want to go down the value chain, empower those who are bringing the small amounts to aggregate, and then see how to expand their own capacity, how to take them to the next level, so that they can also become exporters in the 1, 2, 3 years. It's a patient job.
So basically, you are ensuring exponential growth for SMEs in the export.
Exponential and organic.
Lovely, lovely. Please give him a round of applause. I said to you, behold your money. These people are here to give you the support. If you know what you want, I'm sure you can benefit from them. So, thank you very much, Exim Bank. I think it's time to come back to Eagle Flight MFB. Eagle Flight, you are in Delta State? Good. Big state. And you've got lots of SMEs in the hinterlands. Not a few in the cities, but more in the hinterlands. How do you cater? How do you manage penetration? And how do you cater for the unbanked SMEs in the hinterlands? Maybe like those in Okorosa and those in, those other esclavos. How do you cater for them? What is your reach like? Because they are SMEs, they need to be supported.
Thank you very much. Eagle Flight happens to be a state microfinance bank, which our head office is in Warri, and within Warri alone, we have over 15 branches, of which branches and cash centers. And basically, most of the cash centers are more in the rural area, you understand? And that's where Eagle Flight even deals more with, with the small and micro businesses, where we go there. Even though they can't come, we go there and see that, credit facilities being given to, these certain persons. And even in Asaba and maybe Abraka and Saple, we still have branches where people that have small businesses can also, have access to it, and to also improve them and expand their businesses.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her. Eagle Flight has something for you, so after now, know how to look for them. Please, Ben, you are very aware that in Europe, in the Americas, in the Asias, they have different concepts and models. I know that there is Rabobank in Europe. I know that model works. So what do you say to an Afrocentric model of finance in Africa, where you can actually design a VCR, a voluntary contributory revolving fund, and there are SMEs in Delta State is known to be hardworking. The SMEs are very resilient. So how do you provide for them using a VCR or any other model that you consider indigenous and Afrocentric?
Okay, when I said earlier that we have money for MSMEs and we do not need collateral, I saw some reactions in the audience, meaning that half does not believe what I said. If you are among that half that does not believe what I heard, please raise up your hand. If you don't believe that what I said is true, please raise up your hand. All right, thank you very much for being sincere. But let me explain to you what we do. It's not rocket science. First, we are a cooperative. We are not a bank. We started in 2010, and today we are in 32 states in Nigeria, and we have over 252,000 members. Every of our members save a minimum of 5,000 naira with us every month. Please multiply it. 250,000 multiplied by 5,000 is 1,250,000,000 naira. Our money, it doesn't belong to a bank. As our money. We are therefore able to borrow our money to our members without looking for a bank. Number one. Number two, we are majoring farmers, and we know that loan at 40 or 37% does not make sense for a farmer. We borrow our money to our farmers at 12% a year. Nothing hidden. 12% a year, not 20, not 30, not 40%. It's our money we borrow to our members. Number three, when we borrow you our money, we work with you with the right technology to farm the way we want the product, and the day you harvest the product, we buy it from you. We don't need to go to market. Everything I'm telling you is not rocket science. Some of our members are here in this audience. If you are a member of my state, please get up.
A round of applause, a round of applause. We have,
all right.
We have testimony.
I am from Delta State. I'm from Ndokwa West Local Government. I'm from Okume. I'm from Utugume. I won't come here to lie to you. I'm a Delta born. But I haven't been working from here. I tried to come back earlier. The confusion was too much, so I went back. But I'm ready to come back now. Our program is based on what he just called Afrocentric. Esusu started from Africa. Esusu, know what Esusu is? Daily contribution. That's what we have taken from do it on the roadside and turn it into a science. and built the infrastructure. We have a platform called Aquila. We own the system where we do our collection. All you need is your phone. You install the software in your phone. You can do your savings from your phone. You don't need to leave the market or leave the farm. Believe it or not, the money you are going to bank to look for is your money. Now you keep the money there. It's your savings in the bank that they are borrowing to you. It's not their money. It's called OPM, other people's money. Now your money is there. So what is worrying us is Mumu, our Mumu done too. We all the money the banks are holding, and when you go to them to give you the money, they tell you to bring your grandfather's grave and your great grandmother's burial site. The money belongs to you. If you are smart enough as SMEs, you can form your cooperative. Join our cooperative, you begin to save. Let me round up. What is the process of getting money from our cooperative? It is simple. Join the cooperative and start saving. Minimum 5,000 naira every month. Within the first 6 months, you qualify for your first credit. The interest is no more than 12% a year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I knew that the audience will applaud him, even if I don't tell them to applaud. But I tell you this, just to puncture Benedict. All of them sitting here outside of Ben are businesses. When I use that word, the bank is also a business, and it's a profit-making business. Now, the money in the bank, yes, some of them belong to you, and there are also others from shareholders. The money must be protected. So you have to be careful how you look at banks. Banks are like you as well. That money that they are holding has to be protected. It cannot be lost. Because it is your money and other people's money. So we need to be careful how we look at it. So we're coming back to solutions, and I will give you guys an opportunity to engage with them. But coming back to you, I stay with you, Ben. You talked about Esusu, which is, yes, an African concept. And at the continental level, with the AU and other partners, we are talking about Ubuntu Susu, which is a revolving fund. And I know that cooperative model worldwide, even in Africa, I think Dr. Jonathan is used to it. There's in Kenya, in Botswana, the cooperative model is very strong. How do you protect your members from loss? How do you mitigate risk?
All right, very, very good question. There are a few things we do. I'm going to be very direct and practical. Number one, we only lend to members that we know. We would do our due diligence. We have what is called KYC and KYM. KYC is know your customer. KYM is know your member. We know you to your house through the member who recommended you. That's number one. Number two, we only borrow money for production purposes. We do not borrow money to buy a showcase. We do not borrow money to do party. We do not borrow money for burial. We do not borrow money to marry second and third wives. No. We only borrow money for production. When you want to produce something that you eat, something that you can sell, we would borrow you money to produce it on the condition saying that we go buy the thing.
So you are the off-taker.
So we are the off-takers.
Okay.
Number three, we must insure the farm, we must insure your life, and we must insure the business. Let me repeat. We must insure the farm or the business, we must insure your life, so that if for any peradventure something happened, you die, we will not go and be meeting your wife who is crying to give us the money. No, we need insurance company. Number three, because we are the one who buy the produce, we would then ensure that you produce by giving you a consultant that we know to guide you. And that consultant, now we dey pay am, not be you. I repeat, that consultant that we give to you, now we dey pay am.
No, hold on. You're a cooperative.
Yes.
So when you say you're the one, they have their money in your system.
Yes.
So if you're paying for cooperative money.
Yes, na his own money is what I'm paying for. He don't sign paper to us say this man is working for me. When the man does XYZ, pay. So the consultant is only paid on result, not on speculation. If there's no result, we don't pay the consultant.
Thank you very much.
We want to work with you to get result.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him. That's My State Multipurpose Cooperative Society. They are advancing the cooperative model. And
but you spoke about something which I wanted to comment on, the Ubuntu model.
Ubuntu model.
What we have now done is to scale it up. Africa today is a 1.4 billion continent. Are we aware of that?
Population.
Population of Africa is 1.4 billion. What that means is this: if we get every African to do what we have just described by joining the Ubuntu Susu, and everybody just put $1 in that fund, that is a $1.4 billion fund. Our money. We did not borrow it from Oyibo. With that money, we can then begin to finance small businesses in Africa that we know can grow. Afrocentric way, our own money financing our business to grow our business in our continent. Because we did not borrow that money, we don't need to operate on Oyibo standard. We operate in Africa standard.
So it's Africa for Africa.
It's Africa for Africa.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. He has just expanded it to a continental position. What it means is that you in Delta State, you do not have to think local anymore. Your business can start from here and it can go continental and global. That's what he's trying to tell you. So you can promote it using this approach. Let me come back to Dr. Jonathan. Dr. Jonathan, you spoke very well. Your presentation was complete. I can't fault it. You know, but looking at your bank, I'm just wondering, does your bank have, when I mean your bank, I'm talking about Andrew Unique Microfinance Bank. Looking at what your bank has, do you have any clear-cut design for MSMEs over mitigating risk? For instance, micro insurance for MSMEs. You know, how do you provide and cater for microfinance for micro insurance for MSMEs, and at the same time, do you have an indigenous innovative solution? You know, because we all talk about what the rest of the banks will always talk about, which is SMEs are high risk. You know, in fact, 4 months ago in Spain, during a function with the United Nations, we're talking about Africa as a risk. And we now said, how can you say Africa is a risk when the minerals are here? Just like in Delta State, you have the oil companies, they are drawing down from oil, and you still say Delta is a risk. But your business is there, you're operating. You know, so what I'm trying to say is that, what do you provide as a mitigation, or what's the innovative solution you have to an indigenous MSME here? Because as a banker, generally from your template, SMEs are largely informal, so you consider them as high risk. I hope I didn't put you too much on the spot. Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. You know, for every venture in life, even up to the food you take is risky. The water you drink is risky. The car you use is risky. And so, in every aspect of life, you need to mitigate risk. For every venture, like my brother said, there must be a risk mitigant. In his own word, that, you know, sorry, I tried to also put you on the spot on this. There's no lending all over the world that is risk-free. There's none, even the competitive model. Andrew run all this model together. We have what we call a soup lending. A soup refers to various models, daily contribution, which will be to the micro units. Those who are selling bole, granite, and all those things. They have access to Ambu 247. And of course, like you asked, in Ogulaha, we have a brand, we have come to the river. In Kuje, we have a brand in the river. To make sure that within the whole of the state, we have an outreach everywhere. And what does Ososuakpo do for you? Contribute if you stated naira or 50 naira, 100 naira a day. Contribute for 1 month. Once you start, you are consistent. We'll come to your business to verify that you actually have a business. Know your customer, know the business. Then you are automatically qualified for a loan. You will give us your projections. We look at what you want to do. If you want to buy a bag of granite, because before now you were only buying a basket. So you want to buy a bag, we will provide the funds for you to buy the bag. So long we have looked at your market and your ability to sell, we will buy a bag from you. So people will get from 1 bag, they go to 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags, and at the end they have service. They will automatically create assets out of the service. Some who have not been able to pay their children's school fees or the only school fees, they will out of it save, because we have 2 profiles. One, how much do you spend in your house a month? We want to make sure that you are able to do a business that will be able to pay all your bills at home, pay your children's school fees. So we'll give you that skill to do. And so far so good. That close monitoring in Andrew has, in fact, changed lives. Many have own assets. Some are able to grow like before. So that's one of the important ways. For the middle scale enterprises, of course, we have been growing them by batch. So I have migrated from micro to medium enterprise. And as I speak to you, I can tell you that for the micro we have empowered in the States. I can tell you confidently, if I have my tablet here, I'll just go and tell you how many were empowered over time. But so far so good. Within the space of 6 months, we have lent about 5 billion to micro units who take small 50,000, 100,000, and so on and so forth.
A round of applause. You see that 5 billion in this economy. You are seeing that 5 billion in this Delta State economy. You are seeing it. Yes. Please, a round of applause for Andrew Microfinance. We will open the floor very shortly because I know we are running out of time. But just before I do that, I will allow Bank of Industry, I will allow Nexus Bank, and also my dear sister to give their general inputs into what has been said on the panel. So, Bank of Industry, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. First of all, I would like to say that most of the loans that the Bank of Industry gives, at least, let me speak for this year, 70% of the loans that the Bank of Industry has given this year, largely was given at 5% per annum. I repeat, 5% per annum. And that was on the RAPID, Rural Area Investment for Development Program. That's for the RAPID, 5%. Again, on the FGN MSME Intervention Fund, that was at 9%. Now, let me also tell you the good thing about working with banks. Bank of Industry is a development finance institution. It is not a commercial bank. However, generally, when you have businesses with banks, your funds and your monies are protected. You have the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation and all that protects your money. That's on one hand. Also, let me say, if I run, I'm not intending to puncture what you have said, Mr. Ben, but if I was running your kind of program and I have about 1 billion or 5 billion of members in my hand, I'm sure the money is put in the bank, not under your mattress. That's one. And also, you would also agree with me that money is better put in treasury bills at 20 or 25%. So we are making that as well, and I don't know if that's declared to the members.
It has to be declared.
So all this is, you have to also show that, you are making good of their money and is making good return for you. That's that. Then also, you spoke about their interest rate is 12%. 12% is higher than average rate of interest for Bank of Industry. The highest interest rate Bank of Industry will give a 10 loan is 10%. Yeah, so the choice is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Gladys. Gladys.
If you talk, we have money, come and collect. It's not like that. Nobody wants to put in money and at the end you don't get it back. So when we talk about the 5 C's, we're talking about the character of a person, the capacity of a person, the capital, the collateral that everybody's running away, we collect collateral in my bank. Then conditions. When all the states are being put in place, between you and the man, you can have any amount from my bank. Even Flight is a welcoming institution that everybody, that's why you meet this criteria of the 5 C's, you can have access to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you. A round of applause for Gladys. She's the only woman here. You know, it's not easy to stand among men. So she's here, she's holding her ground. A round of applause for her, please. Buhari.
Thank you very much. Just to make a little more clarity on Exim Bank, we are owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Ministry of Finance Incorporated. Therefore, all monies that we have with us are government monies, or majority of our monies are government monies. And government wants us, just like the Bank of Industry, to be developmental in our nature, which means that whatever amount we're going to lend, the pricing should not be more than 10%. So we lend at 9%. But very importantly, I'll take something from yesterday's panel. I'm sure those of us who were in the panel yesterday must have benefited so much from what was said. Very important, you must have your documents ready. You must document all your financial transactions. You must have a business plan. You must have a business focus. And when you come to us with that, we can also assist you to upscale you. You may come with us for a particular transaction, but we will guide you to say you can actually go this way rather than go this other way. So ours is not just to throw monies at you, it's also to provide you with guidance. We're a government bank, we're a development bank, we are not actually profit oriented. So talk to us, let's discuss how we can take your business to the next level.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open. We will take questions just before the questions, let me give a special preference. I'm going to indulge him because he gave a lead paper. He set the tone for this conversation. So Dr. Jonathan, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I just want to make a general comment. I started by saying that the objective, one of the aims, or the objective or set of goals that should be achieved from this summit is to inform the operators, which are the owners of MSME, those who wish to set up one, and the financiers, which is the banks and financial institutions, development agencies, and the rest. At last, we can come to a common agreement and also pass on knowledge to all of us to know what to do at every point in time. So, if we have to close this session, I want us to be at the same level that those who are seeking for funds are able to access the fund without too much trouble, and also they should be able to know the requirement that will make them access funds. We have chronicled a lot of problems that have created the gap of funding MSME, and I think this discussion should cover some of the solutions on how to close those gaps. One of them, like somebody mentioned here, is that intervention funds have issues because those who are accessing the fund, they expect that it is a national cake, and so they do not pay. That's the story of the People's Bank that closed long ago, and it has happened to all the intervention funds. In our presentation, we only mentioned that these funds are embedded in corruption. How do we address them? Because at times people go to their brothers, their sisters, their grandchildren without giving to those who actually need this funding. We need to address it. Another one, awareness. These programs, people are not aware of this, but we want them to access these funds. They're not aware because they're not widely advertised. Even if they are advertised, they don't have the capacity to access those these funds. These are issues that we need to look at as solutions to these intervention programs. Then, having said that, also for lending, you discover that we all agree that there's high default rate of lending to MSME. What are you going to do on the demand side? You are the demand side, those who are looking for funds, you are the one demanding for this fund. What are you going to do to ensure that you pay your loans? That is what about the collateral, that is integrity and credibility. Credibility is such that even me, I can even fight for say, I will guarantee you, because I know what you can do. To that extent that you automatically have an inbuilt collateral in you. For those that have dealt with all my experience in the bank, those who have done very well in MSME, they are those who are honest in paying their loans. And I can tell you, some of them move from
small scale industry to today, some of the big you hear now, they started from small, and because they were honest. There's nobody that has money to fund business or completely, you must borrow. But if you borrow and you pay, you move to the next level, you borrow and you pay. So I'm saying this to the audience, and you need to address your mind. My father was always saying, you know who is your father, where you came from. You must have integrity. When you borrow money, you pay. You will not have this back and forth with any bank. When they try you, number one, you pay. Two, you pay. In fact, they will not be looking at the collateral so seriously. They will take it as economic comfort in case of unplanned events.
Okay. Hold it there, sir. Thank you very much. I was going to come back to all of you to perhaps think over the concept. Delta State is very traditional. You've got different traditional institutions, royal majesties and all that. So if a Delta State monarch is willing to guarantee or to serve as a guarantor to guarantee, because who knows everybody from a community, everybody, all the SMEs, all the Delta State MSMEs are from villages, they're from communities, so somebody must know them. So they have chiefs. So what do you say to an indigenous approach where the chiefs will also be able to serve as guarantors, and then you can now use that in lieu of collaterals for them to access funds? What do you say?
So for that, you see, the level of moral upbringing in the Delta States is dropping seriously. You can say you're going to resort to traditional leader, even when he defaults. You cannot even talk to him. You will not organize what is bitchy. That is the level to which morals have declined in Nigeria, not only the Delta State. There's a lot of terrorism, a lot of militarism, and the rest.
No, but
in those days,
so if the monarch knows, like she talked about the 5 C's and character being the main one for all banking systems. So if the monarch knows that you have that character, then he doesn't have to sign for you.
Good.
He doesn't have to sign like a guarantor for you.
You know, if you are looking for something, you try to humble yourself. When you've gotten it, you will change your color. That is the behavior of we have been able to study. Yeah, we have so many stories and empirical records of human behavior. It takes us money when it comes to money. It changes. But that's not even the major problem. A model has been developed to overcome that. Like, look, let me just use an example of AMJU. In AMJU, we have a group model. I think in Asaba here, I can talk to a of Asaba. We have over 10 groups. These are MSMEs that came together to form the group. They all know themselves, they have their office, and they form a group. They contribute money, and we lend to the group, who automatically lend to the members. It's all lending to the members. That group have worked perfectly. They know themselves. They do what we call counter guarantee for themselves. That injury to one, injury to all. If anything happens to you, we will take responsibility. That's the model from our study, and we have replicated so much in Asaba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So every person, please hold on to these thoughts. Hold on to your thoughts over what I have talked about. Let us now open the floor very quickly to the audience. So we have 2 questions, opportunity for questions from all those on the left. 2 questions. Do I see any hands? If you think you have a question for the panelists, microphones. Can we please help me?
My name is Cynthia. Please, like what Mr. Ben said, that when they lend you the money, they will be the one to buy from you. I want to know if their own loan is basically on farmers' loan, because to us that is Seketra, they cannot give us money and at the same time come to buy our goods from us. So let me know from that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the gentleman on white.
The question is for some SMEs who are into production, they don't have collateral. There are a lot of businesses that don't have collateral, but they have very good business plan. Their cash flow is fine. So, what are the measures to put in place for them to be able to access this funding?
Thank you. Thank you. So,
Good afternoon. Please, we would like to follow up, like how do we contact these various banks? I know Bank of Industry, but the other people, how do we follow? Number one. Then as a follow-up to what that lady, I'm a processor, and when he was saying after you buy back the things, then I was wondering, that would be a good marketing strategy for me. As a processor, agro-processor, can I produce and you buy everything back from me? Number two. Then number three, for Nexim Bank, I love exports. And when I heard of export grants, the pre-grant, I was so excited. But it's like it's not feasible at all. I would like to I want you to really talk, because we have an export team, Dominion export team, and by God's grace I've exported to Canada, and I love exports, but I have a lot of challenges. So Nexim Bank, I learned if you want to, they don't help those people who have not exported before, and if you don't have good documentations, they cannot help you. Is it true? So there are issues really I would like to meet with you and follow up some many issues that I cannot just say now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You are like an angel now to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you by the Delta State MSME Summit put together by Dr. Agolo and the rest of the team. Please let's give him a round of applause because we are doing something from this directly. Good afternoon, everyone. Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Comrade Ekato Emmanuel Zelijo. I want to ask, when you have the character and all that, man, please, what is your interest rate? Thank you very much. So we've had two questions from the middle row, so let's come to the last.
In that direction is export base. Then you went further to say it is oil and gas related. So if somebody is having a supply to supply diesel to a local company in Nigeria, will that your factoring window be open for that person? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us allow the questions get appropriate answers. I know that particularly Nexim Bank and Miles Trade, they will lead the and the food is no longer your business. Am I answering your question, madam? Just cook the food and give to us. What we do with the food is no longer your business. We know what to do with the food. The next question is from Dominion Export Team. You are a processor. You produce. I have said that already. First, we will sit down with you and find out what do you process. And whatever will finance you to process, your agreement with us is that we are the one that will buy it. Again, what we do with it, leave it with us. However, you cannot process anything for us. We will sit down with you and agree that what you are processing is what we can buy. And we will finance you to process it to a standard and quality that we want. If you do not have the right equipment and the right training to process it to our quality and our standard, we will get you the right equipment, the right training, and the right certification to do it to a standard that we want. And our truck will be packed in your shop. As you are producing, it is emptying our truck. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I had, I think, two questions from the audience. Thank you very much, Ma, for your efforts in exporting to Canada. I must commend you on that. Exporting is not an easy business, but it's very profitable. And you did mention the export grants. Nexim Bank works very closely with Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Now, the export grant you talked about is handled by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. However, I can give you the lowdown on it as we meet one-on-one and give you the necessary contacts and even follow you up with where you can get that from. When you get the export processing grants and you want to upscale and you want a loan facility, because the processing grants are limited, what you need might be much more than what the grant can take. That is when Nexim steps in. But because you have done exports, because you have also benefited from the grant by way of trainings with NEPC, you are now well prepared to approach Nexim Bank for a facility. I'll work with you very closely and exchange numbers, both of mine, my office, and then also of NEPC's after this. And for anybody who is also interested in that aspect. My brother over there asked about exportation and asked that if he has a job to carry out supply diesel also. Now, I did mention that Nexim Bank plays in the oil and gas servicing aspect, which means if you have a job issued by an IOC, International Oil Company, or a National Oil Company, NOC, to carry out supplies to them, painting, rehabilitation, refurbishment of any of the activities, that also qualifies you to get a loan from Nexim Bank. We have some funds from NCDMB, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, that has that is with us, and I think also BOI has such as that too, to give indigenous players, and I think indigenous players are found mostly in this sector or area of Nigeria. So we have those funds to give you at 5%, and others at, if it's dollars you want, 5%, Naira at 8%, to carry out those jobs that have been given to you by the IOCs. Now, if you want to carry out exportation of commodities, agricultural commodities or aggregation of other commodities, we also have Nexim Bank indigent funds, which goes at 9%. And if you're able to give us your business plan, where you want to take the monies to the products to, what you want to do with it, we want to work with you. Let me put it in that way. Let us work with you to establish package and avail facilities to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we now leave Bank of Industry and Gladys to make their input. You heard all the questions, so if there's anyone you were interested in, please make an input.
Thank you very much. I know while I was talking, I never mentioned interest rates, and that was why you needed to know. Because we're a microfinance bank, of which we have shareholders' funds, so it's expected that the funds that we have from our shareholders, it still needs to yield interest. So for our interest rate on SME loans is 3% on a reducing balance. And for microcredit, our tenure is for 6 months. 6 months. After that, then we can go ahead. That's it. Then for, we still have civil servants, which their interest too is quite different from the small and medium scale. For civil servants that need loans from us is like 2%. Then for cooperatives, it's negotiable. For cooperatives, yes, it's negotiable. We give you and you tell us what you want. So it's all about you and us, being on the table and decide on what we want. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Am I good?
Good. You are good. You are good. A round of applause for her. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that the panelists have done a good job. And so we will now wrap up the conversation. And in wrapping up the conversation, I would like to just say, looking ahead, Delta State micro, small and medium enterprise. If you had an opportunity to change anything over access to finance, if you had an opportunity to unlock widespread finance for SMEs, how would you speak to it? Bank of India.
Okay, excuse me. Thank you very much, sir. It's pretty simple. About being entrepreneurs, we must begin to be intentional about encouraging entrepreneurship, encouraging growth of SMEs. So I'm addressing it from 2 points: from the government side and from the people's side, the consumer side, the business side. On the business side, what do we have to do? We need to begin to standardize our processes. We need to have registered businesses, either as enterprises or as limited liability companies. We need to have a registered bank account. We need to keep proper records of our businesses, our sales and all. Then we need to also begin to engage banks for guidance. For example, the Bank of Industry, what we also do is we give advisory services. You have an idea, there is no way you leave me with your idea without constructing it or changing it into a bankable business or a project. And this cuts across all the 36 states of the Federation. We are trained to do that. So once you just have an idea, bring it, we will turn it to a business for you and you begin to fly.
So you're also an ideas bank. Thank you very much. Andrew, let me take it from that angle as well.
How we can remove bottlenecks of finance. But we also need to look at the environmental factor, creating an environment that can impact and make the business to thrive.
So last word.
Yes. So I would say that the development agency, the MSME development agency, Delta State development agency that will be set up need to take responsibility in trying to monitor MSME in the state.
Lovely.
By taking appropriate statistics and establishing even people, consultants, to go around and chronicle the problems facing them. Like some have mentioned, the activities of taxes, double taxation, embarrassing people here and there, need to be addressed by government. It's only government that can address that. You know, like I said in the presentation, you can make laws, very good. You can make whatever law you want to make, but if they are not implemented, it's like you have done nothing. So governments need to take that responsibility of creating an enabling environment, give tax rebates to MSME in Delta State to grow.
Thank you very much. So Benjamin, your last word, unlocking access to finance, what would it be for you?
For MSMEs in Delta State, I have one answer for you. It is called blended finance. I repeat, blended finance. Nobody in this panel have all the answers to your access to finance problem. You as an MSME have to take everything we have given you today as spare parts and then run them up into a total solution for yourself by taking a little bit of what they have, a little bit of what we have, a little bit of what we have, at different times of your growth as an MSME. You will need the different solutions that we have. That is what is my takeaway for you. You must develop a blended financing solution for yourself. But as a closing, let me give a thumbs up to Delta State. This is the first state-financed MSME summit in Nigeria that I know of.
Round of applause for Delta State.
Other states are doing state economic summit, which is usually too bogus, try to solve all the problems and end up solving none. But this is very focused, MSME solution. And I think other states will begin to copy you very soon. Please don't stop, keep it up. And if you ask me, you need more than one in a year. Plan for 2 summits in a year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As a closing remark on my own side, I would just want to advise MSMEs to begin to get formal. Register yourselves appropriately with the registration authorities. Get your bank financial statements ready, and very importantly, collaborate and see how you can come into clusters, because the more the merrier. When you come with the critical mass, you become attractive to financiers. So get yourself formal, begin to get documentations in banks and in regulatory authorities and get into clusters, you'll become more attractive for funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Gladys, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. It's going to be a short one.
It has to be.
Yeah. With all these we've learned, it's all boils down to integrity. Both you coming to the bank and trying to access facility from the banks and every other institute, that in whatever you do, always know that this money has to be returned. It's because it's when we return this money, the money will revolve. So in whatever you do, just have integrity so that everything will go well with each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, dear leaders, champions of enterprise, allow me to present my panelists. Please take a rise up for a round of applause. Behold your money. Now we have a photograph session.
Novel, and it's really unprecedented. Thank you so much. Kudos to the team led by the Executive Secretary. Yesterday we had a very round session when it was time for lunch. But for today, we are going to be very orderly. We are going to be very orderly. For want of time, running with the speed of light, I'd like to say that we'll have tea break now, and after that we'll be back.
I have just been invited to this summit, the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprises Summit, the first of its kind in Delta State. As one of the guest speakers, I presented the paper on access to finance and the finance gap for MSME in Delta State. And just few things we analyzed. We make government to be aware that there are bottlenecks, there are problems of accessing finance, and of course, MSME is seen as a very risky business to finance by financial institutions, banks, and development agencies because of so many bottlenecks. One, that the state need to enforce law and order to avoid touts going around the state to embarrass businesses, and government need to actually ensure compliance of the ease of doing business and other things that the government has put in place to ensure that the atmosphere is made peaceful for development in line with the more agenda of the Governor, Honorable Sheriff Rowo's administration. Of course, the more agenda seek to build that there's equal development for opportunity for all, and I expect government to, on her own side, play her role of causing a very serene and acceptable environment that will make business to be attractive. You know, businesses move to areas where there is peace, where there is law and order. So if government can do that and also provide energy, which is the engine of growth. Energy will make a lot of things to happen, manufacturing, production, and of course it will lead to a global economy if actually the government can focus on developing infrastructures and also providing energy. And these are many more. On the side of the operators of MSME, they can access loan if they can meet steady conditions, which were highlighted in the training. I gave, of course, integrity is the higher currency and credibility is also important. And their focus, with study and good banking relationship, they are all important and germane to the growth of MSME. And so many things that were narrated. The session we had, the discussion session was very rich and robust. I think a lot of messages have been passed to operators of MSME and even the financiers of MSME. If we work together in synergy, I think the Delta State will be one of the best places for MSME in Nigeria. Thank you.